This is f of x. It's not f times x. It's not fx. So f of x, you literally say f of x. Just like that function's name is nuggetizer, this function's name is f. So what is the f? The f is just the name of the function. It's like you're giving it a title. We're calling this equation f. You can call it other things. G, h is other ones you'll see a lot. The part that represents the input is the x. The part that represents the output is the f of x. And what is f of x equal to? 2x. So your actual function rule. The first thing we talked about with inputs and outputs is that inputs are x and outputs are y. Yep. And so inputs represent my domain and outputs are my range. And lastly, the one we're doing today, inputs are x and outputs are f of x. So we're on the back side, if you'd be with me. Let f of t be the outside temperature in degrees Fahrenheit, t hours after 6 a.m. So the name of our function is f. We are inputting t, which stands for time in hours. And then whatever we get out would be a temperature, and that's our output. We're going to explain what each of these are. Please pay attention. It's hours, t hours after 6 a.m. So number 1. In this case, you have replaced t with 0. So t is now equal to 0 hours. That's what we've done. And 58 is degrees Fahrenheit. That's what's happening here. Because t stood for hours, you put in 0 hours. Okay. Zero hours after 6 a.m. means that it's what time? 6 a.m. So this is saying at 6 a.m. the temperature is what? You input 6 a.m. and you output what temperature? 58 degrees. So we have, this one is at 3 hours after 6 a.m. And this is 9 hours after 6 a.m. But we're talking about time here. You don't want to just leave it in terms of hours. What's 3 hours after 6 a.m., guys? 9 a.m. And 9 hours after 6 a.m. would be 3 p.m. So if you read this, it's saying the function at 9 a.m. is less than the function at 3 p.m. We're talking about temperature. So it's the temperature is less or lower, right, at 9 a.m. than it is at 6 a.m. or sorry, 3 p.m. Ooh. So your temperature ends up rising just like it normally does during the day. So evaluate f of x when x equals -3. I'm going to make my f of x, or my function, 2x plus 1. You have to write this down. This was supposed to be typed out. It's not. Please write it down. x equals -3. So I'm going to put -3 here and here. So f of -3 equals 2 times -3 plus 1. You are replacing x with -3. On the left side, this is just like you're telling me what you're doing on the left. I am inputting -3. On the right side is where you're actually doing it. So on the left, this just stays. F of -3 equals 2 times -3 plus 1. 2 times -3 is -6. So -6 plus 1, which will get me what if I add those up? So what your answer is going to be is f of -3 equals -5. You are saying when you input -3, you output -5. This is a math sentence. First thing I need you to do is plug in the number for the entire f of x. So you're told that f of x equals 21. You're going to put that where f of x is. It's going to take that entire spot. Because you're told the output, I'm asking you to find the input. Rewrite it. 21 equals 6x plus 1. No, 6x plus 9. Plugging in the number for f of x. You are told that f of x equals 21. So it goes in that spot. Now, solve for x. So what should I do first in this equation? I'm trying to get x by itself. So -9, subtract 9. (12) equals 6x. How do I get rid of that 6? Divide. You get 2 is equal to x. Please write your final answer in function notation, which says f of 2 equals 21. When you input a 2, you output a 21.